Good morning, students. Today we are going to study grade 7 history. Sixth chapter, the Delhi Sultan. Life under the Delhi Sultan. See, there were a famous kings who ruled the Delhi Sultan, and today we are going to see how many types of cultures and what all they monumented during the Delhi Sultan period. Okay. Life under the Delhi Sultan. First introduction part. The Delhi Sultan is a noble example for glory of medieval India. Its culture, art and architecture that exist even today in praiseworthy. Means what they are saying in Delhi Sultan period is a noble example for glory of medieval India. Glory, it was a noble. You students, do you know what is mean by noble? You I have you heard about Nobel Prize? It is more precious prize, right? Like that only. Noble example of glory of medieval. Glory means it is a surprising and it is a famous of medieval period. What famous in Delhi Sultan period? Its culture, art and architecture that exist even today in praiseworthy. During Delhi Sultan period, its culture, the way of people's dressing sense, festivals, traditional, these are all are called culture. Okay, art. What is mean by art? During Delhi Sultan period, the paintings which have drawn by kings or peoples, it is called an art. And architecture, architectures, the monuments. At starting, you have seen the monuments which have built by Delhi Sultan. Okay, that exist even today has a praiseworthy means it is so worthful monuments and architectures and arts built during Delhi Sultan period. Okay, the sultanates of Delhi ruled for quite a long period of 320 years, during which they were achievements in different fields. Sultans of Delhi, they ruled for a long period. Long period. How many years? 320 years. During that time, they have achieved many things in different fields. Okay? Are you able to understand, kids? So that 320 years they have ruled and they have achieved in many fields. Okay? Next, we are going to see the life under the Delhi Sultanate, social and cultural life. Okay, you can see here first is society, and society is differentiated between four: aristocracy, priest, town dwellers, and peasants. Aristocracy consists of the sultan, the nobles, and the Hindu rajas and princes and the landlords. Under aristocracy, who all comes? Sultanates and nobles and the Hindu people and rajas and princes and the landlords. Landlord means the owner of the means who take the owner of the land who is there, from there they collect the revenues, is called as landlords. Okay. Priest consist of the ulema and maulis, quazis and brahmins. In priests they consist ulemas, maulis, quiz and brahmins. In town dwellers consist of officials, artisans, craft people, merchants, slaves and domestic servants. Here officers comes and artisans comes and craft peoples come and merchant, do you know, the people who sell the vegetables and all, and slaves and domestic servants. Okay. Peasants, the life of peasant was one of the hard work and druggery and poverty always. Okay. Who are peasants? Peasants are farmers. Their life was always hard working. Okay. Next, about aristocracy, we can see this was the ruling class. It consisted of the sultan and nobles. These people are all are riches. The Hindu rajas and princes and the landlords. This was the most powerful social group because they had wealth and power. They enjoyed a lavish lifestyle. Lifestyle means more richest lifestyle they were living, because this sultan people and nobles and Hindu rajas and princes and landlords are more powerful people. Okay. They had more wealth and power under them. These are separate social groups who are ruling all the classes because they are richest people among this period. Okay. Next, priest. Who are priest? Children's, you know priest. Who works? Who are who are higher people who works in temples like Brahmins. You all know, right? Who works at temple. They are called as more priests are called always superior people, right, in society, who only can work at temples, for who can go nearby God and all like that, they say, right? This, now we can see who are these people and how they are treated in the society. This group was reserved for learned people like the Brahmins, Maulis, Quizis, and Hulema. Means these were reserved for learned people. Means they are well educated peoples. This four caste. Okay. These citizens were considered superior to the town dwellers and peasants. Means these four caste people, they were called superior. They were called superior to town dwellers and peasants. Okay. And they used to dedicate their lives to their respective religions, studying holy books and worshipping gods. They as before I said, these people who were working at temples and they were respective to their religion, studying holy books and worshipping God. Always they used to worship God. The Brahmins were greatly honored, and many Turks like Halberuni interacted with them extremely closely. At that time, they were honored by greatly by Turk peoples. Okay, the Hulema became very powerful and were very important in the court. In many cases, like Firoza Shah, the Hulema became so powerful that they became the virtual rulers and the sultanates became powerless. Means at that time, more than Firoza Shah, Hulema became powerful. So the virtual rulers were ruling by ulemas, and Firoz Shah like sultanates became powerless. Therefore, many sultanates adopted measures to keep the powers of the ulema under control. So they thought like now our many sultanates thought now every power went under the ulema, so we should keep control ulema in our control, under our control. So many sultanates decided like this. Okay, sometimes the ulema did not accept a new measure or policy which the sultan had decided to implement. Many times, because ulema had become powerful king right now, so now whenever the sultan decides to implement this new policies, ulema was not accepting the new measures or policy which were decided by the sultanates. Most of Muhammad bin Tughlaq plans were dropped simply because the ulema did not agree with them. Muhammad bin Tughlaq plan also was dropped because ulema did not agree with them. Next we are going to see about peasants. Who were peasants? As I said before, peasants are our farmers. The life of the peasants was one of the hard work, drudgery, and poverty. Means they always used to hard work, and drudgery and poverty means they were always humiliated by landlords, and poverty humiliated by landlords. They were who are landlords, they always used to get revenues from the peasants for the lands. Okay, so when they collect the revenue, how peasants can become rich people? They always kept as poor people. So peasants were humiliated by poverty too. They suffered greatly during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. In last chapter also, we studied that how cruel Muhammad bin Tughlaq was. But their condition improved and enjoyed many benefits during Firoz Shah's reign. The tax paid by the peasant was the chief source of revenue for the government. In last chapter also, at 5th chapter, we deeply studied about Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Firoz Shah, right? For Firoz Shah made many policies, many policies were brought Many policies were brought and reformers taxes were lessed in Firozshah Shah period for peasants. So many benefits were given by Firozshah Shah for peasants. Okay, the tax paid by the peasants was the chief source of revenue for the government. It was a chief source revenue for the government. Okay, it was a revenue given by the government. Next comes paintings. The sultans of the Delhi Sultan patronized architecture, art, dance, and music. In Delhi Sultan period, they were more famous in architecture, art, dance, and music. However, painting did not received a boost. Then too, in Delhi Sultan period, painting was not so much boosting thing for them. The Sultan did not take any interest in the wonderful North Indian paintings. Means Sultanate was not taking interest in painting so much. Okay, so paintings came and it's in a dead end, but fortunately the Rajput revived its legacy. The Rajput patronized and encouraged artists, and soon they let their style of miniature painting continue. When sultans did not agree with paintings, but fortunately the Rajputs came and they encouraged the patronized artist, and soon they also started their styles of miniature painting continued. Okay, miniature paintings, what are these? Miniatures were the preferred medium of Rajput paintings. It was a Rajput paintings, but several manuscript also contained Rajput painting, and the painting were even done on the walls of places. It was done in the walls of places, inner chamber of the fort, inner chamber, inside the chamber of fort. It was there. Havelis, particularly the Havelis of Sheikh Havati, particularly the Havelis of Sheikh Havati, the color attracted from the certain minerals, plant sources, conch shells, and were even derived by processing precious stones, golds, and silvers were used. See, the paintings were done in the walls of palace and inside the chambers of forts, and the famous painting was Sheikh Havati. Here you can see in the picture, right? It was a famous painting. The colors, it was most extracted from certain minerals. Which was that minerals? Plant sources, corn cells, and even derived from processing precious stones, gold and silver. See, paintings were done in gold and silvers also, and many stones also they were using. Nowadays paintings we use colors, pencils, or etc., right? But here they have used gold, silver, stones, like this they have used many materials for. So the preparation of a desired color was a lengthy process. When there was a if they are doing painting means they needed so many materials like minerals like shells, gold, silver. So it was a lengthy process, okay, in paintings, but it was so precious and it was too beautiful to see, which was done by Rajputs, okay. Next comes town dwellers. The town dwellers consisted of artisans, craft people. Artisans means the people who art paint means who were art people who were doing art by their hands, okay. Craft people, merchants. Craft people, you know, the people who do handcraft, okay. Merchants, the people who sells vegetables or some other things, okay. Slave, the people who works in other people's house, okay. And domestic servants, then other servants who works for outside people. Occupations were more or less hereditary among the Hindu and Muslim craft people. The merchants were prosperous. Occupation were more or less, but the hereditary among the Hindu and Muslim craft people. The merchants were prosperous. Craft people and merchants were more famous during this Delhi Sultan periods, okay. Then next comes new musical instrument. The history of musical instruments dates to the beginnings of human culture. Early musical instruments may have used for rituals such as trumpet to signal success on the hunt or a drum in a religious ceremony, okay. From before itself, from beginning of the human culture, this musical instrument have been used for many things, for rituals, for trumpet signals and successful of the hunt, or for a drum for religious ceremony. What is mean by ceremony? When there is a new function like home ceremony or marriage, like this, for religious ceremony they used to use musical instruments. Culturals eventually developed composite and famous of melodies for entertainment. Musical instrument involved in types with changing application. Cultural eventual developed means for every cultural function also there used to be performance of melodies of musical instrument for entertainment, okay. The oldest object that some scholar refers to as musical instrument, a simple flute, dates back as far as 67,000, means from 60,000 67,000 years. From that time they were using flutes and dates for musical instrument. In that only they were making musics, by that, by which, by dates and flutes they were creating musics, okay. Many early musical instruments were made from animal skin, bones, Still many before 67,000, before that period, there were no proper dress to humans also. That time musical instruments were by animal skins, bone, wood and other non durable materials. Instruments can be classified by their effective range, their material composition, their size, etc. It always based on effective range, means at which place you're making music and what range and what type of size, what is the size of the material, and where which even A supports for the music. When you hit something, it sounds one thing. When air blows too fast, when you hit that time, it sounds in another way. So it always effective to classify the thing, which thing you're using for the music and which type of place you're sitting for creative music instruments. Okay, next, Kathak dance of the Delhi Sultan. During Delhi Sultan, Kathak dance was the famous dance. Kathak is a dance form in which a storytellers narrate story. Kathak dance is form of which storytellers, means while dancing tell they tells a story. They narrate story for everyone. In Hindu rules, its professional has a group of storytellers performing Srinagar dance to the stuti in praise of the Almighty in the temples. The characteristic pose of this dance is where right arm is raised above the head ready to receive God's beneficial and left arm stretched out at chest level, upon which his eyes are fastened, is turned towards the earth. Kathak largely followed the Sabanga during Muslim ruler. During Muslim ruler, it was a famous which dance? Sabanga Kathak. Okay, it was mostly stretched for the gods beneficial. Okay, next, from 11th century onwards, that which the establishment of Muslim ruler largely formed Delhi, that the relationship and influence on the Kathak in all the four aspects of Abhinaya and Angika and Vachika and Aharya and the Statvika. From 11th century onwards, that with the establishment of Muslim ruler largely formed the Delhi. Okay, the relationship involve influence on the Kathak more. Okay, the four aspects, which were the four aspects? Abhinaya and Angika, Vachika, Aharya and the Satvika. Okay, by the 10th century, yearning of the individual soul for Almighty, symbolized by Radha yearning for Krishna, became subject of enactment in Kathak. Radha was dancing for Krishna. It became more famous during 10th century. Okay, a new set of mudra depicting the Gun Gunkata script into the dance form. Modern Kathak is a combination of Hindu theme with Persian costumes. It became combined with Hindu themes with Persian customs. Okay, which was that new set of mudra? It was Gunkata. It was a form of dance. It became combination to Persian's custom. Next come architecture. Architecture, you can see in this picture there are many monuments built at period of Delhi Sultan period. The Turks brought with them Arabic and Persian's architecture style. The Turks brought Arabic and Persian's architecture style. See, the classical style of Hindu architecture appealed to them, and the two styles were blended harmoniously to make a distinct Hindu Islamic style. See, Hindu Islamic style. Many of these monuments are made by sultanates. So, almost they have builded monuments in Islamic style. The characteristic features of Sultanate architectures is the extensive use of bricks, arches, domes, beams, and balconies. You can see they have mostly built by bricks and arches. You can see in first pictures there is a big arch over there and domes. In second picture you can see domes had built and beams. In fourth picture you can see there is a beam and balconies. Almost they have built balconies over there. In third picture you can see balcony. Okay. On the other hand, the Turkish monuments were plain. They were always plain. There was no any other type of art which are written in that. Okay, they were liberal use of floral and geometric design. It is used and done by flora and geometric designs. Okay, some of the important monuments of the Sultanate period are Qutub Minar complex and Halai Darwaza. You can see Qutub Minar complex over there, first one, and Halai Darwaza, third picture, and tomb of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. You can see second picture, the tomb of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Firozshah Shah Kotla, and Tughlaqabad fort also you can see over there in fourth picture, and the tombs of the Lodi kings. You can see in third picture the tombs of Lodi kings which were done by these many kings in these pictures. These are the famous architecture which are done by so many kings. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Firozshah Shah, Tughlaqabad, and Lodi kings and all. Okay. Next, other culture changes. Other culture changes, what all are there you can see here. Dresses. During Delhi Sultan period, the dresses were these type of dresses. Hindus and Muslims wore pajamas, kurtas, kaftan, salwar, kameez, and continue during so to this day. till now Hindus and Muslim wears same as pajamas, kurtas, Afghanistan and salwars, kameez, and till now it is continuing. Materials like silk and brocade were used to make dresses and were very valuable. It was so valuable dresses. Okay, you can see in this picture the human dressing style was like this. They used to wear in the head, then they used to wear necklace in their neck and pataka, then tunic, buggy pants and wooden shoes, then kaftan. These all they were wearing during Delhi Sultan period. It was a customs and traditional for them. Okay. Next comes food. New types of food such as biryani, bread and wine became a part of Indian cuisine. Cuisine means what? Cooking style, food. Okay. Sultanate's rulers were very fond of food. They hired the best chef around the world. Means during Sultanate's period, biryani and bread and wine became very famous food item and it was very tasty food. Okay, it was hired by best chef around the world. Then next, finally we came to a conclusion point. Okay, this was till now we saw the life under the Delhi Sultan. What was there? The society, then aristocracy, how were people treated, and who were rich, then who were treated as superior, and who were treated as poor, town dwellers and peasants, right? After that, we saw architectures, then arts, paintings, music, and dance. About this, all we saw. And other cultures, like means, other culture is based on food and dresses. Now, what is there we can see in this conclusion? The Delhi Sultanates were the Persian speaking dynasty. Delhi Sultan were Persian speaking dynasty of Turkey and Afghan origin, which were controlling India from 1210 to 1526. Many of these dynasties ruled from Delhi. This includes the slave dynasty 12 to 690 till 90, the Khilji dynasty 12 to 19 to 13 to 20, the Tughlaq dynasty 13 to 20, 14 to 13, the Sayyid dynasty 14 to 14 till 51, then the Lodi dynasty 1451 to 1526. These many dynasties were ruled during this period. Later on, after the India fell to the Mughals, there was again a brief period when Humayun, son of the Mughal Babur and father of Akbar and Great, was disposed by Patana rulers, Patanasuri dynasty, which enjoyed a short rule then before Humayun was resistant in 1555. So finally, the later on, after India fell to the Mughals, after this Delhi Sultans, the dynasty. The dynasty was ruled by Mughals. Okay. After that, in that Mughals period, Humayun, the son of Mughal Babur and father of Akbar and Great, was deposed by the Patan Suri. This Humayun and Mughal Babur and about Akbar and all you will see in next chapter. Okay students, for today in this chapter we are completing the life under the Delhi Sultanates. Okay, you can see here every dynasties are here. Rajput dynasty, then early Turkish ruler, then Khilji dynasty, then Tughlaq dynasty, then Sayyid Lodi dynasty and all came. Okay. In next chapter we are going to study about Akbar, Humayun and Babur and all. Okay. Thank you.